Lesson 10.19, the last one in this unit is graphing rational functions. So now we're really putting it all together by finding the characteristics and putting it on a graph. Zoom in a little bit. So these are all the 5 features of the function they want us to find, and some you may not have. So first thing I want to do is find out what the horizontal asymptote is and what the y-intercept is. You're not going to have this to do on your problem, but this is going to help us see it and then graph it. So horizontal asymptote, I see that the degrees or the powers match, so it would simply be those leading coefficients, which is 3/4. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that over here on the graph. So 3/4 is almost up to 1, so it'd be going through the y-axis there. Okay, and then my y-intercept, remember just plugging in x is 0. And so that would be 3 times 0 is 0, that would be -10, that'd be 0 plus 10, and that divides to make a y value of -1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. 0, -1 would be right there. Okay, and then I do see that I can factor the bottom. Take out a 2, that would be a 2x plus 5. But factoring doesn't do me any good, nothing cancels. So that tells me right now there's no holes. Okay, and then vertical asymptote is when you take the denominator and set it equal to 0, because remember we can't have it be 0 on the bottom. I don't really need to worry about the 2. I'm just going to take the part with x, set it equal to 0, subtract the 5 over, divide by 2. So -5 halves is my vertical asymptote. That's the same as -2.5. So I'm going to go ahead and make that as well. -2.5 would be a vertical line like that. Okay, and then x-intercept's the last thing. That's when you set the numerator equal to 0, because really y is going to be 0. And then cross multiply, that's gone. So you get 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. Add 10 over, divide by 3. So 10/3, comma 0, which that is a little bigger than 9/3, because 9 divided by 3 would be 3, so it's 3 1/3 or 3.3 repeating, which is going to be about right there. So I can already tell what this graph is doing. It's going to have one curve, get really close to that vertical asymptote and come up and be really close to that horizontal asymptote, and then the other curve is going to do something like this. Delta Math will graph it for you once you get the characteristics, so I'm not worried about finding specific values. All right, number 2, horizontal asymptote. It is top heavy. So we're going to say that there's no horizontal asymptote. Y-intercept. Plug in 0 for x, so that would be -4 divided by -2, which is 2. So 0, 2, I'm going to put a point. Vertical asymptote, we need to start factoring. That'd be x plus 2 times x minus 2, that's the difference of squares on the top, over x minus 2. X minus 2's cancel, that tells me there's a hole, so I might go and jump to that point. So x minus 2, set that equal to 0, so our x value would be 2 comma something. Our function is now simply x plus 2. And so I'm going to plug 2 in. 2 plus 2 would make y value be 4. So 2 comma 4, there's a hole. And then a vertical asymptote, well, my simplified function is simply over 1, so I'm not going to have a vertical asymptote either. And then my x-intercept is figuring out when y is 0, so I'm going to set f of x equal to 0 and solve. Subtract 2, that would be -2 comma 0. This one's kind of neat, because if I look at this function right here, once it's simplified, this is y equals mx plus b. This is back to pre-algebra, algebra, algebra 2, graphing and linear functions. This is the y-intercept, which is 2, and then my slope is just a 1, so it's going up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. And so actually, this is a linear function. It's just weird because it has a hole. So at 2, it's undefined. And that would be that one. And number 3. It is top heavy again. Why do I keep picking those? I don't know. So there's not going to be a horizontal asymptote. And then y-intercept 0, 0, that'd be 16 divided by 4. So that would be 4. Okay, factor. I feel like we had one like this. So that'd be x plus 4 times x plus 4 over x plus 4. X plus 4's cancel. So that's going to give me a whole at -4. My new function is actually x plus 4. Plug in -4 plus 4. That's a 0. So that's my whole. That also ends up being my x-intercept. And so there is not going to be one. Okay, and then vertical asymptote, there's not going to be one of those either because I don't have a denominator to set equal to 0 or to worry about it being 0. And that should be it. And so again, this came to be something linear where it has a y-intercept of 4, slope is 1, so it goes up 1, right 1, or down 1, left 1. And so this is the function that delta math will make. And that's it.